We've not made it a secret as to our opinions of Josh Allen. And right now, people are very excited about him. And I don't know if they realize what they just saw in that excitement. Because the Rams game was a dog whistle to every defensive coordinator in this entire league. And it exposed problems that we saw from day one, Wyoming. Now, let's talk about Colin Kaepernick. Through 23 games in the regular season, Colin Kaepernick was 17-6. For the rest of his career, after something changed, he went 11-24. There were two things that changed. We'll cover that in a second. Right now, through 24 games, Josh Allen is 16-8 in regular season games. Now you might say, oh, you can't possibly tell me you're comparing Josh Allen to Colin Kaepernick. We are. Colin Kaepernick thrust himself onto MVP radar in his earlier career. He was big. He was strong. He was tough. He was a really good runner. He had a big arm. He could make one read, region reads. And when teams were terrified of him, they had a big problem on their hands. At the time, they truly couldn't understand how to deal with the mesh option. And after Seattle and the Rams, the Rams, had shown in his second season starting how to deal with that mesh option, it allowed a lot of coverage options to defenses because they didn't have to sit in zone and stare at him with everybody in the secondary to avoid getting killed in the run game. Basically, it was simple. Send your defensive end straight at the mesh option and blow up the quarterback. They don't want him to get hit that much, and they don't want him to get hit in the backfield. And when that started happening, now Colin Kaepernick had to manufacture offense and run an offense. Now, I'm not going to say that the 11-24 mark after that point was all Kaepernick's fault. It simply wasn't. San Francisco got considerably worse. The talent around him struggled. He went 1-10 in a year because his team was miserable. But they did find a way to deal with Kaepernick much, much better, which took the optics of it away from the MVP talk and down to he's a solid bottom of the league starter. He's a one-win quarterback. And you might be saying, this line of logic doesn't make sense. Colin Kaepernick was a running quarterback. Josh Allen's just a good runner. And Colin Kaepernick, he couldn't throw anywhere near as good as Josh Allen can. Josh Allen's better in accuracy. Josh Allen has even bigger arm. Okay, so then answer me this question. Why are you playing zone against Josh Allen? You have a quarterback who processes the field slowly. You have a quarterback who struggles to throw wide receivers open. You have a quarterback who likes to stare down his one read, region read wide receiver. And when you sit in zone, he can watch the wide receiver, he can watch the wide receiver's break, and then he can time up the window and pierce it easily with his big arm. Yet up until this point, it's been pretty obvious. Teams are concerned about Allen's ability to break the pocket and run. So they've played zone. And the Rams just showed you never, ever, ever play zone against Josh Allen. In week 1, he played the Jets. They played the zone. That didn't work. In week 2, he played Miami, and they played apex trail man coverage, but he stared down the crossers over route all day long where the wide receiver didn't have the bracket coverage on the front, which is basically zone. Then against the Rams, they started playing man right off the bat, but they switched away from it for two reasons. One, they were afraid of Josh Allen's ability to run. Two, they lost Fuller and had to play Rapp at safety. Rapp is a linebacker. He should never play safety. In the first half, the announcers made it pretty clear. Josh Allen looks really comfortable this year. Josh Allen's just picking defenses apart. And the Rams were in zone. And it was 21-3 at half. Can't necessarily agree with what McVay was doing in attacking the flats of the Buffalo defense, but that's another story. So Josh Allen has racked up 3 touchdowns, and the vast majority of it has been against zone. Start the third quarter, and the Rams drop out on a 4th and 4 at midfield. A screen pass gets Buffalo down into the red zone, and at this point in time, they're playing man. Now, Buffalo was able to score once they got inside the red zone. A couple nice plays by Allen. It's not going to be hero or zero, but it is certainly there. The throw to Diggs in the back of the end zone when Ramsey kind of gambled on a route and didn't have the right positioning led to the touchdown to close the drive. But from this point on, the Rams had committed to playing man. Now, I bet on the Rams, and the reason I bet on the Rams is because they're a man team. They play man defense. They traded 2 first-round picks for Jalen Ramsey to bolster their man defense. Yet, for some reason, Staley walked over to Josh Allen in the first half and said, "Here's my identity. Take it away from me." In the second half, enough of that. So the Rams played man, and Josh Allen immediately looked uncomfortable. Josh Allen was trying to create behind the line of scrimmage, and the pass rush got to him a number of times. He threw an interception, which I won't call an interception because that wasn't an interception. But it was a throw into harm's way that would have had a chance of being picked if there wasn't offensive pass interference before the catch. The Buffalo Bills offense struggled to move the ball for the rest of the day against man defense. And you say, well, Josh Allen had 4.5 minutes and they were down and they led a fourth quarter comeback. 3rd and 22. Your team has played man defense the entire second half. It has rattled this young quarterback and made him look like he looked in his first year in the league. What do you do on 3rd and 22? Well, Staley, like a masochist, dropped into zone. And Beasley was able to run, wall off his defender, and the safety was late to respond because Josh Allen has a phenomenal arm and you don't play zone versus him. Completion, 22 yards, and a first down. A few plays later, again, against man, Buffalo's sitting in 3rd and 25. And with the game on the line, what do? Do you play man or do you play zone? Well, Staley did half of it right. In a trips look to the left and to 5-wide look in total, they put Diggs as the innermost slot wide receiver, which is a play that has been in every college playbook since I was in college. That's over a decade ago. It's completely set up as 4 verts to isolate the slot guy in the middle. You got to man Diggs. You got to get somebody on Diggs. So what do the Rams do? Well, they put John Johnson, a strong safety, on him, and they have a free safety rookie in Terrell Burgess on the front side of it. And as soon as Josh Allen, who's staring Diggs down the whole time, sees John Johnson release his man and drop into zone, lets the ball go. And Terrell Burgess, who's played 9 snaps this season as a rookie, did not raid the front side of that route, and they were able to complete it for 16 yards. You do not zone anybody on this field. You make Josh Allen process through his reads and find somebody. Now, Dabble's going to run man beaters, and that's going to be something that hurts you a little bit. And Josh Allen's going to run, and that's going to be something that hurts you a little bit. But you have to acknowledge the talent that is the most dangerous. And with Josh Allen, he has made it completely clear that the thing that you need to take away more than anything else is his arm. You don't play zone versus quarterbacks with a big arm. Well, after they completed that zone pass to Diggs, they set up 4th and 9, and we know what happened. Because the defensive coordinator put his boys in position to fail, and things happen. You don't play zone on 3rd and 22. You don't zone anybody on 3rd and 25. You don't play zone. And that's what you saw in this Rams game. You saw 21 points rattled off by Buffalo when they were playing zone. You saw 7 points on the board when they were playing man, and it was mostly due to a screen pass. And then you saw the touchdown at the end of the game where they had them dead to rights, and then they went back to zone. Everybody in the league with that film says, let's just play man. Even zone teams are going to play more man against Buffalo after this game. Teams that play man are not going to even consider playing zone against Buffalo after this game. Make Josh Allen run. He can do it. It's going to be impactful. But the Buffalo offense stagnated And Josh Allen regressed. He had some panic moments. He took some bad sacks. He made some dangerous throws when you took his first read away because you were playing man. When you made him process the field because you were playing man. You play man against Buffalo. And even though Beasley is a man beater, and even though Diggs is a very nice wide receiver, and even though John Brown has good deep speed and is a quality wide receiver, you still make Josh Allen process the field when you play man. And that's the weakness you need to get to. So while the national media looks at the stats, looks at the comeback, and just screams MVP, we hear the dog whistle loud and clear. And we know there are going to be more teams in this league that hear that dog whistle loud and clear. So if you want perception to run and you want to disagree with this and pretend it doesn't exist, be my guest, because we're going to crack back on you so hard in gambling. When it comes to this, there's going to be the matchup that sizes him up and shakes him down completely. And I can't wait for that day, because it's coming, and it's coming rather soon. But the fact remains true. If you play zone against Josh Allen this year, he's been operating on a level, and the Dabble offense has made that look like prevent. You saw it loud and clear in the Rams game. But man has been a mixed bag. There have been issues that have popped up. There have been misses that have popped up, dangerous throws, sacks. It has tipped the scales dramatically in the favor of the defense. You can't play prevent, and teams see that on that film. And that's going to be an issue for Buffalo going forward. For the time being, Buffalo is in a void in the world of gambling because you simply don't know. You don't know if teams are going to come out playing a heavy percentage of man versus them or if they're going to play a heavy percentage of zone. If they play zone along with Buffalo's soft middle of the defense that's caused by their strong downhill pursuit and the inside zone running game that they've had an issue with way back into last year, you're looking at an over. And you're looking at a game where if they play zone, Buffalo absolutely could win. But any team that shows up playing man that can still take shots at that middle of the defense and run the inside zone, they could upset them. Any single team. We're talking the Jets. We're talking the Dolphins. Any team who picks that right scheme could give Buffalo issues. Now, for the time being, as I said, we're leaving Buffalo alone, but we are sizing up the matchups and we're ready to hit them with a crackback on one of these days where the matchup is exactly the way we want to see it and Buffalo's perception is way, way too high. Love you guys. We need you. Stay strong, and I'll see you on the other side.